So I don't know if you noticed, but for the past almost 4 weeks, I think it's the past 4 weeks, um, a lot of the Avyakt Murli, Sunday Murlis has been about Brahma Baba and his life and his characteristics, how he served, what was his perspectives, how he thought, how he spoke, what were um, the qualities that made him to move forward, because he's the only perfect human example that we have in front of us, that it's a sort of say he perfected what it means to live spiritually. So his life is a perfected example for us, and that's why Shiv Baba again and again kept bringing him into our awareness, because he wants us to know it's absolutely possible, even though we could become that number-wise. Baba always used the word number-wise, but even then Baba says to attain that number-wise, effort is required. So again and again, Baba is bringing us into our awareness. What are those efforts that I need to make? I may not reach Brahma Baba completely, but somewhere close. And we all have our highest potentials, which is going to be very different with Brahma Baba, and even between each other. Our perfect self is different, but the method is same. The method to attain our perfect self for all of us, it's the same methodology. That is why Murli is like methodology for all of us. But to what extent we practice, it's an individual initiative. And right before going into this Murli, there's one story I want to share about Brahma Baba. Just a lot of stories keep coming in my mind, especially about Brahma Baba and Mama, very much. And one of the story about Brahma Baba was, this was back again when he was, when the whole family was in Pakistan. Of course, at that time, Pakistan and India was one. And I remember Nirmal Shanta Dadi was, she was his Lokik daughter. And she was like, I think at that time, the story that I'm talking about that time, she was like 19, 20. And at that time, of course, a lot of these Kumaris, a lot of the younger girls, they were all in that age range of like 15, 14, 16, 17. Those were the age range of this then, how they became dadis, and they lived to the age of, some even lived to the age of 90s, and they left body. So at that time, for 14 years, what happened in that 14 years? They call the year of tapasya, complete. It's a life that was very intensively devoted to spirituality. I would put it that way, towards Gyan, which is knowledge, and Yog, which is connection, remembering Shiv Baba. And they were in that age, very, very young age. And Baba never allowed them to tie their hair. In fact, all the sisters, including mothers, Baba gave them same attire to wear, so that to break the awareness of the body consciousness that I'm a mother, I'm an old mother, or I'm a young girl, to break that awareness, barriers of age, Baba gave all of them same attire, and all of them, Baba didn't tie their hair, because I told them not to tie for 14 years. They kept their hair untied. And the reason behind this, Baba always would say, Brahmin is like the top knot. right? If you see, even the physical priest, Brahmin priest, they have a small, like you can call ponytail or like a knot, and that symbolic shows of the upper class in terms of hierarchy that they are in a higher clan. And so Baba says that, a lot more effort is still required. And so that's why that 14 years was that intense effort making process that they all experienced. And Baba gave them so much. Of course, this is all Shiv Baba doing through Brahma Baba. But even Brahma Baba, the faith that he kept on Shiv Baba, and the messages that Shiv Baba would give, how Brahma Baba would follow undoubtfully, that was reflecting, that shows the intensity of the relationship that Brahma Baba had with Shiv Baba. And so, how then they took care of these? Mostly, there, of course, there were brothers also, but mostly there were female souls, the Kumaris and mothers. And Baba would tell them that you are all Shaktis. And Baba would tell them that there's nothing that you cannot do. And sometimes Baba would tell them that, go to this Allah Bakshi, who was then, he was like a governor or like a politician, very influential in the society. And Baba would say, go. Will you bring a makan? Makan is a house. Will you bring a house for Baba? You see, Baba has so many children here. So will you go to him and bring a house? And then very young, innocent girls, they would say, yes, Baba, we will do. Never a thought came, well, how to approach Baba. Will they give us a house? They didn't have that because they trusted entirely on the words that Baba said, because these words are going to manifest, and they knew it. They had that faith. They would go, they
Okay.
would go and talk, they would
Lamia.
go, they would go and talk, and then they would bring the keys to the house. And in Dadi Nirmala's Dadi Nirmal Shanta's story, one particular story that I remember was she was at the age of like 19, 20. And at that time, there was this one, when they were in a vacation, they went to a vacation. So there was this group of businessmen, they were also there. And there's this one businessman, um, I'm not sure of the name. So she actually then told him this knowledge, do you know who you are? What is your real name and everything? And he was kind of astonished, like such a young girl. And he was an old man. He was like in his 60s, like late 60s. And here she is being a 19-year-old girl, and she's talking all this knowledge that was hardly heard about at that time. And this whole conversation happened in a garden. And then he went back to his residence. He was living at that time in Colombia, Colombo, I think. Colombo, yeah, Colombo, with his family. And then what happened was he went back, but he was still thinking about what he heard. And then in his dream, again, this whole scenario that that he's in the garden and he's meeting her, and then she's giving this knowledge. And so again and again, that was pulling his mind. So then he sent a telegram to Brahma Baba. He said that, can you please send this little girl to us here? We want to learn more. And then Baba told her, you got this invitation, so will you go? And here she is. She's never ever parted ways from her father. Of course, Brahma Baba was also a Lokik father. She never parted ways, never ever went, stayed apart, away from Brahma Baba, away from Baba. And she was hesitant to go. But Baba says, if you go, you will do a lot of good service, and you will even open the fortune of this child. that you're going to meet. So she said, okay, if it's for service, I will go. So she went there. And when he saw her, he was the old man. He was shocked. How did you come here? I mean, how come you're here? And then she said, well, you're the one who sent the telegram for me to come. So Baba sent me. And then his son, his older sons, he said, yes, yes, father, you requested for her to come, and that's why she came. So then she stayed with them in their house with with his sons and his daughter-in-laws. And he, being such an old man, he started calling her mama. He started calling her like ma, mother. And she said, don't call me ma because I'm so young. And she was calling him dada. He's old. And then he said, but no, you are my mother. I know you are my mother. I saw my mother in you. So whether you like it or not, I will just call you mom. So she started sharing yarn with his family, his extended family. And then the time passed, she stayed with them for like 5 6 months. And then after that, Baba said, child, it's time for you to come back. So then she came back. He was reluctant to send her, but he knew that she has to go back. And then, of course, at that time, you couldn't bring any gifts from outside back to the country because it was a lot of restrictions. So what he did was he wrote something in an envelope in a paper, and he closed the paper, put it in an envelope, sealed it, and told her, you give it to your dada, just to Brahma Baba. So she came, of course, she didn't open the letter, it was sealed. So she came, she gave it to Baba. Baba opened the letter, and then Baba smiled, and Baba said, do you know what's in this letter? And then she said, no, Baba, I didn't read. Then she said, he actually willed a huge bungalow that was in Kashmir. He willed that bungalow to you, and he said, "Show this will to the caretaker, and he will get you the keys. He will give you the keys." So see, your 5 6 months of you gave them gyan, and you brought a bungalow for the family from Colombo. You brought a bungalow. And so many situations like this happen where and now when we hear, we feel, how was that possible? It could have been just miracle. But at that time, those sisters, the young ones, they didn't feel it was impossible. If Baba said it, it means it's reality. If Baba said it, go to get it, it means that they're getting it. And they had that deep faith. They didn't think twice. And this is how her service also expanded. Then, of course, they stayed in that bungalow before they finally moved to India. So Baba spoke, a lot of these stories. Two things we can learn from a lot of Baba's life was about love and about faith. These are the two, the main theme of Brahma Baba's life was love and faith. And then because of love and faith, it gave birth to so many other aspects in the life, whether it's we talk about good wishes, whether we talk about tolerance, whether we talk about courage. Everything came because of this love and faith. And that is why even in this Murli, Baba said, if there is love, there is faith. If there is no love, there is no faith. Love and faith are two sides of one coin. They both coexist together. If faith is missing, if faith is shaken, somewhere love is not deep. So Baba is connecting these two ideas, love and faith. And now we'll go to the Murli. And very interestingly, if you see on the first page, on the first page, Baba, there's the two paragraphs. Baba spoke about two different aspects which absolutely are interconnected. And the first aspect is like two checking points, I would say, two checking points. And another aspect I just want to add to that story that I shared, when during the partition was happening, Baba had, drivers or people like what do you call home like maids or drivers who help, especially drivers. All the Indian drivers ran away because they were afraid of, being killed. And so who stayed behind and helped with the Muslims that helped Baba's drivers, or who people who did the security, they took care of the residents, were all Muslims. And Baba treated all of them with the same vision. And the way Baba spoke to them, Baba would say, beta, beta means my son. And Baba would then tell them, can you do this? Can you do that? And the love that they received from Baba and the way Baba approached them, it made them to feel that they are also part of the family, that they're not separate. Religion, if we hang on to religion, it can very subconsciously separate us. But when we feel each other's heart, when we feel each other's love, that breaks actually all barriers. It breaks all barriers that we are holding, whether physical barrier or even mental barrier. And so the first checking point that Baba gave us, the Murli, like I said, there's two checking points that Baba gave. And these two checking points are very interconnected with each other. So let's look at the first checking point that Baba gave. The first checking point is Baba says that when I am aware of Baba's love, when I am aware of Baba's love, when I am aware of how my life has, whether it's a gradual change, whether it's just a complete turn, for all of us, we will experience it differently. But for sure, some impact has already happened in our life or has already started to happen in our life. Coming to Baba and listening to Baba's knowledge, Baba says, if I could just keep all of this in my awareness, if I could remember and realize how all my life has taken a turn and change, Baba says that will itself give a lot of zeal and enthusiasm. So I'm going to say this will give birth to a lot of zeal and enthusiasm within me. Right? Enthusiasm means that aha moments. I've experienced something. I found something. So that's an enthusiasm. We call it, you gain spirit. Right? I've gained spirit. So Baba says it gives birth to enthusiasm. And Baba says, when I am enthusiastic, when I become enthusiastic, two type of results can happen. Either I actually do it. Baba says, when we become enthusiastic, we feel, okay, let's do this, or let's try this, let's go here, let's do this. The mind races. Let me invest this love. Let me invest this energy into doing something. So I actually then do it. Or in another scenario, Baba says that sometimes I may have the enthusiasm to, I'm thinking I should do this, I will do this, I will do this. It's like mind mapping mentally I'm doing. But when it comes to actually physically manifesting it, when it comes to actually taking an action, Baba says, then I take a step back. And the reason behind that, Baba says, because of two thinking that comes in between. And Baba says, Baba use these two words, ifs and buts. Baba says that I start giving excuses. I have the intention of doing it, but I haven't translated, I haven't brought it into action. is because of these two. That means excuses come when I'm expecting something, when I sort of expect people or the place or the situation should be ready made. Ready made in sense that I should be able to just go and be able to do it without any hurdles, without any obstacles. But nothing is going to be ready made for me. If it does, if people are keen, if situation is to my advantage, it's perfect, it's fine. But we don't always end up meeting favorable situations for us. We don't always end up meeting that. And so when we see things are not to my favor, not to my advantage, then these words come in. I want to do it if they allow, or but I don't think that they will like it, or I don't think that they will understand. So a lot of these, Baba says, these are subtle excuses. So, and Baba said, the moment these excuses are given, eventually enthusiasm dies. It's not going to survive, right? So if you see in this whole entire equation, the moment I have the enthusiasm, and no matter what happens, I do it anyways. This, whatever is the result, whether the result is positive, whether the result is negative, still, it's not going to boil down, it's not going to kill my enthusiasm. In fact, I will learn something from it, and next time I'll do better. So, in a way, in future, you are going to increase your enthusiasm scale only if you actually do it. And here, I have the enthusiasm, but I don't apply because of excuses. So what happens is enthusiasm dies. Then I have to go back to square one, which is again going back to realization, taking time. So again, we have to then start from scale one, and then again go, and then again go. Again, if I fall short here, again I have to start. So this is again, it's a process that I have to keep doing. Sometimes we get tired. Sometimes we feel, how long? Why do I keep flopping? And so now the second checking is the answer for this. This is the first checking, is that sometimes we see ourselves being in this place. Sometimes we see ourselves being here. Sometimes we are able to put forward whatever that we have planned. Sometimes we are not. So you can check for yourself in terms of percentage throughout the day. Are you here more or are you here more? Definitely both will happen throughout the day. But in percentage wise, where do I stand? Here more or here more? And so now let's work on this aspect where we say that. So this is where what kills my enthusiasm, what kills my motivation, how can I overcome that? And so now let's go to the second checking point. That is where the other half, the next chapter of the Murli takes us to. So this is good. Can I erase this? Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. So now let's look at the second checking point that Baba has given us. And this is where Baba's talking about the two hopes. Brahma Baba is sharing his desire or his hopes for us. Because Brahma Baba have done that, gone through that, attained victory. He knows it. He knows what is the path needs to be taken. He knows what are all the loopholes in each path that we take. What is it that we will experience? What can I do to overcome it? And once I overcome, how can I sustain it? Because spiritual path He's not just having aha moments. Yes, we will all go through some form of realization, but the real challenge, the effort comes, is sustaining what I have learned, sustaining that practice and the awareness. Because this is where the challenge of our sanskaras comes in. One side, I want to become this, and the other side, old habits pulls in. So how can I sustain? What do I need to do along this life journey? So I'm going to first talk about, just give me a moment, let me just turn off the phone. So Baba talks about the two hopes. I'm going to put here two hopes. And so I'm going to break it down here. Now, the first, before, so let me say one thing. In our life, we can categorize people, souls, or we can categorize our relationships into four categories. So the first category, let me explain that first, and then I go here. So the first category is Baba, right? Shiv Baba. My relationship with Shiv Baba. Can you see this? Is this visible?
Yes.
I'll make it a little bigger. So my first category is my first relationship is with Baba. And then my second relationship is with the BKs, meaning people that share the same ideology as me, and they are also connected with Baba, so that's why I put here. And then whether you realize it or not, we also can have common friends, I would say, connections. Okay. Common friends, meaning, example, let's say you and I, we are both following this path, same ideology. Now, we both will have a common friend. Say, in the community, we have same social circle of friends. So we both share one common friend. So that is one subset. And then there will be another subset of souls, which I'm going to put here as others. Now, these souls in this category are the ones, they may not say this, they may not share the same ideology as me, but in some way or in their own way, they are connected with God. You can say people of different religion, or even among the same religion, we may connect with God differently. Okay, so we have relationship with, we can categorize our relationship in these four ways. And here I am, the bigger picture. This is me having relationship with all these four. So really, do you think your life is simple? You have so many souls to deal with, right? And so now, understanding this beautiful, I would say, life that we have, how we can categorize people, they could fall in any of these categories. Okay. So now let's look at talking about when Baba spoke about two hopes. So the first type, the first hope that Baba said is in terms of my relationship with Shiv Baba. You know how Brahma Baba held his relationship with Shiv Baba. What is it I can learn from Shiv Baba through my relationship with him? So I'm going to put it as B. Now, Shiv Baba, two things we learn from Shiv Baba. One is being a detached observer. Two, companionship. This is Shiv Baba's, you can say, the main characteristic of Shiv Baba. the Supreme Soul, the soul's main characteristic. Because if you see throughout the whole time, Baba had just been an observer, yes, here and there, through the path, through the devotion that we do, Baba would, fulfill certain desires that we have. And now coming to fully know who has been fulfilling all my desires all these while, who is that? And how does that work? And who is this soul? And what's my connection? What's my relationship with this soul? So Baba is coming now fully. Baba is opening up the secrets to us. So Baba has that ability to be an observer. So how is it that I can learn that ability to be an observer like Baba? And also, Baba also gives us companionship. Now, Baba don't judge any of us. Whether we follow him, whether we don't follow him, Baba is absolutely there for any of us. It's just that if I connect with him, I feel him. If I don't, I don't feel him. But Baba never denied any one of us. So Baba's companionship is sort of universal for all of us. And so Baba wants us to learn this art of how not to favoritize people and decide how my relationship should be with them, right? And also learning the art of detachment. Art of detachment means having learned the balance of when to act and when not to. So it's a balance of, love. To act when it's needed is also love, but to silently watch when it is required is also love. So this is the art of detachment that I'm learning from Shiv Baba. And then Baba is talking in terms, the second is in terms of family. Now remember the four sets. Or of course, if you exclude Shiv Baba, the three sets, the BK, the others, and the connections. So how is then my relationship towards them? So here, so I'm going to put here as family. Okay. So Baba, this is where again the two main words which I shared in the story is love and faith. Two pillars, two sides of the same coin, two pillars. So Baba said about love and faith. Now, how this love and this faith comes in? First, let me share what are Baba says what are the results of having this, and then I will share how to have this. First, Baba has given the fruits. Baba, so there is Baba has given 2, 3, 4, 4 results. Baba says, what happens when I have love and faith for others? So the first result, the fruit that I will experience, so I'm going to write here, is Baba says, Hanji. Hanji means yes. But Hanji is not a blind yes. Anything people say, yes. But Hanji, what Baba's defining is the power to cooperate, the power to adjust, and the power to let's live together. Let's do it together. Let's solve it together. So Baba is talking that the spirit of cooperation in this here. Baba says, it doesn't matter any hiccups happen during the way. It doesn't matter conflicts or people has their own attitude and people have their own ideas, but still in the end we are able to come to a mutual understanding, and still we're able to get along, and still we're able to do the task well. Hanji. So Hanji is not just a word, but it is an even internally also, it's a form of acceptance, and due from that acceptance, I'm able to find a way and cooperate. Hanji. That's the first, Baba says, one of the fruit of love and faith. And the second fruit Baba have said is, I will not, this is a very big subject. I will not assume. Very, very important part is that I will not assume people. Meaning, when I look at their tone, when I look at their body language, when I look at their facial expressions, I don't assume that, or don't assume means not to label people. Yeah. A very, very important, Baba actually told that, Baba said here that so Baba said here that where there is love, then no matter how ordinary the words that they have spoken to you, or with what rights that they have spoken those words to you, you will not feel them to be like that. Meaning, you would never feel, why did this one said this? A soul who has love for another will never assume anything about that one. It would be like this, it should be like that. Because of constantly having faith in the one that you love, even something that is said lightly to you would feel as though that one has said with a purpose. So, meaning that not to assume people based on my sanskara. Sometimes, if we say example, if let's say I've done something to you and I feel internally a little guilt. Now, the next time when I see you, I'm sort of a little cautious with you, that I'm looking for some signs of indication that are you sort of gonna take revenge on me? It's gonna backfire at me, or you're going to have a tit for tat with me. So I'm going to be more cautious when I'm talking to you. And then if I see you, you say something, and then it keeps in my mind, oh, why did you say that to me? Did you hint this? Did you mean that? Maybe you're hinting, or you're sort of like taking back at me of what I've done with you, what I've done to you in the past. So this is again assuming people, but because of my weaknesses, because of my sensitivity, I keep assuming people, keep labeling people, which may not even be true, but it seems true in my mind because I am living with a certain conditioning in my mind. And Baba says, you will not have that assumption towards people. You would feel it's like when I love you, I'm able to accept you, and the next time when I see you, I'm not gonna see you in that same image as I saw you yesterday. Yeah. I'm able to sort of let go the story of yesterday, and today, new chapter. I'm dealing with you with a different eyes, with the fresh thoughts. So this is what Baba says: when there is love, when there is faith, we don't carry forward stories of the past when we are seeing each other again. Right? So that is the second fruit. And then Baba says the third fruit is, Baba says that conquer Maya. I'll be able to, I like the word that Baba used. Baba said about service, Baba said that service is something that makes you to conquer Maya. Its service does not bring Maya, because it's a different thinking for us actually. We may have absolute good relationship with Baba, and we feel everything is perfect, and I have very loving relationship, compassionate relationship with Baba. But when it comes to people, that feeling gets compromised. That intention of love gets compromised because one is I am also bringing forward my weaknesses, my insecurity when I'm with you. And you are also bringing forward your insecurity when you're with me. And that could be in whether it's a colleague, whether a family member, or just a spiritual family member. Either way, two insecurities are being brought forward in the interactions. So Baba says that, but service is needed to overcome these insecurities. It is not that because when I'm in connection with you, when I'm insecure, when I'm in service, that Maya comes up, that insecurities comes up. It has to come. It definitely will. None of us can escape that. None of us can escape conflict, can we? At least not yet. None of us are not there yet, but we are moving there. And so things will turn sour sometimes. Misunderstandings will happen sometimes. But to think that all this happened because of the undoing service, or is it that service is actually because I'm coming in connection with people? These misunderstandings are actually a way for me to finish it. It is actually a mean for me to overcome it. It has to surface in order for me to know, to recognize, and to work with it. If it doesn't surface, it becomes like cancer. Cancer is very silent. It grows in you, it grows. But when it fully explodes, that's when you will know that it has been all along in you. So these weaknesses are like cancers. It has to surface in order for me to work on it, to resolve it. If not, it will just sit internally more and more, longer and longer, and not even realizing that I could have become so negative. So Baba says service is for me to conquer my weaknesses, not to think that service makes me weak or makes me to feel insecure about myself. Right? So that is the third idea what Baba says, that when we come into interaction with people, feelings happens, things happen, but it is needed to happen in order for me to work on it, overcome it, work on it, overcome it. If not, it will sit still inside of me like cancer. Okay, and then the last fruit, Baba said. Can you see? Okay. Baba says, this is very beautiful. Baba says blessings. Baba says it's only, see, to get Baba's blessing is no big deal. Baba anyways think and wish well for me. It's no big deal. Baba's feelings never get compromised. But to actually gain blessings, good wishes from people is a real big deal. Because for them, that despite whatever that we've gone through together, whatever we have experienced together in a relationship, and still coming to that point where I feel touched by you. I feel that you have brought some change in my life. And so I'm wishing you well. I am um, I'm blessing you from my heart. That's the real big deal. Earning the good positive feelings from others, not by force, but by choice. By choice. That when they think about you, they think good about you. Baba says that is blessing. Baba says You earn that. You will only earn that when you are in interaction with people. You don't earn that when you're living by, in isolation. This is also good karma, beautiful karma that I only am able to create when I'm with people. So these are the results. Endless possibilities that I would experience when there is love and faith within me towards people. So we've seen now the outcome. Now let's talk about the strategy, how we can do it. So this is good. Can I erase this?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So now these are the outcomes. Now let's talk about the strategy. How can I have this? So if we see, Baba's talking about good wishes and pure feelings, right? Good wishes and pure feelings. If you translate that practically, what it is, it's just thoughts. Good wishes and pure feelings are just purely just thoughts, originates from thoughts. And then thoughts then create the feelings, the emotions. So mind is doing the whole game. Mind is the one that's creating these high quality thoughts. And so for my mind to have um, the capacity to naturally create this high frequency, high quality thoughts, it means I must have done something to my mind that my mind is able to naturally think and feel in that direction for people. So, what is it that I need to do for my mind? How is it that I can serve my mind first? My mind needs to receive something from me so that when it gets used to receiving certain affection from me, it will learn the habit to give the same affection to others. It's like a child, right? We always say mind is a child, but literally it is. When your child learns from you how you are respecting and loving others, your child will absolutely imitate you and do the same for others. So I need to serve my mind in that rightful way so that my mind will do the same for others naturally. So good wishes and pure feelings I give to myself first, to my mind first. Give others a later. For others, it should come natural, not by force. But I have to create that mentality within me first. So when I say love and faith, I have to build that for me, for my mind, for me first. Love. And you know what's the best way of expressing love? Is the type of words that I use towards myself. Because words, whether we realize it or not, right? When we are spelling the words, what we say it is spelling, right? For words, we say spelling, correct? Yes, no?
Yeah.
Yes.
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 Right? When we are spelling the alphabet, we say spelling. It means every word can cast a spell. Every word has a magic, has an energy. So if I use right words, it's going to cast right magic in me, right feelings. How do I talk to me and about me? Okay? It's not that I have to always talk highly about me to others. That's ego, that can turn into ego, that can turn into arrogance. But let me not make myself small in front of people, not even as a joke. Not even as a joke that I make fun of myself. Important. You know why? Because the words that I speak, as I said, it does have energy. And guess what? That energy is being heard, received by this body. This body is also listening. This brain is also listening. Both are receiving that energy of the words that I'm talking. So, like how when we are visiting certain website, different websites, some cookies are getting downloaded. But do you know something is getting downloaded? Do you know? Do you realize? We don't, right? Cookies are background. We don't realize. That is why virus, like in the computer, certain website, viruses are background. We won't realize. But something is getting downloaded. And then later what we have to end up doing? End up clearing the cookies. End up cleaning up computer. But all of this is happening unknowing to me. But later when it happens, then it's an extra job to do the cleanup. Same as words. Words that I use does cast a spell. It does has magic. So the more when I'm talking to myself, let me appreciate me. And when I say appreciate me, let me not create that arrogance. It's not that I am better. It's not that I'm talking to myself saying, oh, I am better than this person. Oh, you're better off than this. No. When I talk to myself, let me not talk in comparison with others, but let me appreciate how much I have grown. Like, just for instance, for example, this is personally what I have been doing lately for me is I look in the mirror. When I look myself in the mirror, I look straight in my eyes and I say, and I appreciate, good morning. You are a very beautiful soul. And whatever you do it from your heart. Don't do just a messy job. Or I appreciate what is real, not I'm faking something, but really what is of my character. I look in my eyes and I tell that. And I say, thank you. Thank you for you being you. Thank you. And I will always give support to you. Baba also loves you. I also love you. Baba is supporting you. I also am supporting you. So I tell that to me. And then when I'm doing little tasks, say example, cooking. When I'm doing cooking, then I'm conscious also at that time. And then I appreciate, say, you are doing a good job. You're not just doing cooking, but you do it with full heart. And you're also making sure the kitchen is clean. You're not doing like a messy job and then you're leaving the kitchen messy and then you're cleaning up later. But as you are cooking, you're also cleaning. So by the time you finish cooking, kitchen is also done. Dishes are also done. I am appreciating myself as I'm doing something also. And also moment to moment, like I say in the morning when I wake up, it's like a good thought I'm investing for me. It's a good energy I'm giving to my mind. So the moment I start appreciating, I will start having more and more love towards me. And I will start appreciating my existence. That's very important. Appreciating my own existence. It is very, very important. Not to criticize decisions that I've taken, habits that I have formed, but to actually appreciate my existence. This is who I am. This is who I am. I appreciate this part of you. I appreciate this side of you. I appreciate this intention of you. But as and when I keep doing this appreciation, I become more confident in me and I become more compassionate with me. That is love and faith for the self. You know? And with that dignity, I sit in front of Baba. I can feel Baba. You know? Because Baba is such a high frequency. And if I am vibrating at a low frequency, gap is too big. Cannot connect. Gap is too big. Baba is here. Let me also raise up. Then you feel. You feel Baba. You feel Baba's connection. So it's very important. You can also feel Baba's love. You'll appreciate Baba's love. Why? Because you're also standing on the same ground. You don't feel that you are weak, but you feel I'm worth it. I'm worth of Baba's love. Very, very important. Self-respect, that's what Baba talks, is raising up my own value. And I stand on the same ground as Baba. Then when I connect, miracle happens. So this is how, when I have this love and faith, then channeling and thinking about others, you don't even have to worry. It will happen automatically. The mind has learned. The mind has learned to translate the same feelings for others naturally. Right? Because if I can love myself despite all the mistakes, failures that I have created for me, despite all the embarrassments, disappointments I've created for me, I can do the same for someone else. I can do the same even for the person who is, we say they are very determined to crush my life. Sometimes we do say, this soul is so determined to destroy me or to break me. Of course, we don't want to go to that extreme. People don't do it intentionally, at least for the most part, people don't do it intentionally. But because they are vulnerable, they are insecure, they just impose that feelings towards people that they are interacting with. And so I will come along with these kind of souls in my life. But as long as there is that space in me, I'm absolutely still. You don't have to worry of what type of people you will meet. You'll be able to overcome them. Okay, so this is the summary of today's Murli. Today's Murli, yesterday's Murli. Okay.
It's a question time.
Oh, go ahead, brother.
Oh, I on that day, Sister Gita was doing the Moli, and then in the first half of the class, she kept on asking us, "What is it that we need? Do you remember that?" And everyone gives the answer, but she said, "No, no, no. I'm going to give it to you later." Now, afterward, I had to leave for about, and I never come back and listen whether she actually gave us the answer. Do you remember what did she later on give an answer?
I'm thinking, what was the question? Does anyone know what was the question?
Oh, did everyone else remember? Because from the very beginning, she's talking about faith and love and how to reach that point. Do you remember that? And then she is asking us, and then people say detached, and people say a lot of things. But you say, no, that's some very subtle thing. Although we say it, but still we not. Yeah, do you remember?
Yeah. Now I'm trying to recollect. Yes, I think. But can somebody please share what was the question? And what was it that was shared? Does anyone here remember?
I think it was along the lines of how do you transform the feelings towards others in your mind to the point that you won't have even a trace of any kind of negativity.
Okay, so Gita is here herself.
I'm here.
Oh, she is.
Okay. And brother,
okay,
like
one moment. Gita, okay, go ahead.
What I was
all curious.
I was just sometimes we have a the back of our mind particular persons, and we avoid or we annoyed, and we don't want to really take that type of sanskaras in the next journey. So main thing is that I have to resolve my sanskaras or my nature or my feeling, that particular soul. So when you have that relationship or when you know the person, you always know with the good term. So you like that one type of the virtue or one type of the speciality. And then afterwards, when you are more like playing the part together, sometimes opinion, sometimes you're not like the nature, it's like a compromising. So now from I'm hurting, for example, I'm hurting. So I had to work on that I can see that particular person's the one virtue, one speciality whenever that soul comes in my mind or my consciousness, or maybe in front of me time to time. So whenever and how many times that soul comes in my mind, I only see that one good thing, one like virtue or one like talent or one something like power or one like speciality of that person. So when I see every like now and then, every now and then, gradually from my side that the vibration of positive thing, positive vibes is going to that person, and naturally that person's inner like conscious also that positiveness is coming. So the time will come that there was no any kind of animosity, no any kind of like disliking. There is a like a neutral relationship will remain. And then afterwards sometimes that soul is completely disappear from your mind, and sometimes you have a good term, and sometimes it's nothing, but at least you always have a good wishes for that. So main underlining that see the soul's one particular virtue or speciality in order to free yourself from any types of negativity about that or which is hurting you. And that was the one.
Okay, Brother Tim, you got
Thank
your answer.
Thank you. Thank you. Find the specialties, at least one specialty.
yes.
Yes, yes. Okay. Sister Harini, I think, did you wanted to say something just now?
Yeah, I had a question regarding Baba says that sometimes you're a detached observer when you're supposed to be a companion,
Ah,
and then vice versa. What is an example of that?
okay, okay. Baba is saying that when certain situations where I actually have to act, but I just zoom out and don't do anything about it, thinking that to be silent is better. But in fact, I have to actually say something when I see something. I probably at that time I should have done something about it. And then the other time where my intervention is not required and actually I have to be silent, at that time I sort of do something. So Baba says that actually this idea, there's one aspect about karma, because this is very much connected with the idea of karma uh, that comes in. I was just doing some reading, some research about karma, and one thing I would actually wanted to share, because now that you've brought the idea of when to act and when to just be silent. So, okay. So, karma, there are certain time in certain situations, I actually have the ability to do something. Say, for example, um, say something, let's say, I'm just thinking for an example. Let's say your your friend, okay, let's say for example that two students here, I'm just giving an example, my example, that I saw two students, they were sort of arguing about something, which is, I'm not going to say what it is, but there was some misunderstanding and they were arguing. And as a third party, I was observing, and I saw the bigger picture, what was happening. And so then I approached them, and then I said, okay, this is, so one was misunderstanding what the other one was saying, but I understood the bhavna, the real intention of what this person was trying to mean. So then I explained, actually, this is what this person meant. And this is why this person is telling. So then they got it. Oh, okay, so this is what it meant. Because if not, they could have easily taken it in a wrong way, situation would have escalated. So at that time, I knew, because I was able to see a bigger picture. So I knew I had to step in. But if I had stayed quiet, then things would have gone really sour for both of these souls. And then it would escalate, and then they won't be able to meet eye to eye the next time. So that is one situation where I had to intervene. And then there is another situation where there is nothing I can do about it, because it's really not my place to do something, even though something is happening. But I have to accept the fact the drama is trying to teach this soul something. Like, let's say, this particular soul has this nature that, I've already said once, I've already said twice, but this soul has this very, very strong, stubborn nature that they still keep doing. They still keep doing. And then I realized, there's nothing that I'm saying that can make any difference to this soul. So what I can do, just send them good thoughts, and then that's it. And then let Baba and drama take over. So in that situation, there is nothing more that I can do about it. So this ability to discern where to act, where to be silent, I need to first observe. Let me watch. Can I do something here, or it's just not my place for me to do anything about it? So I need to have that, Baba say, parakne ki shakti. It is the art of discerning what is necessary as per the situation. And Baba says, because we are not able to discern well, we make a blunder. And then we have to face the consequences later. So does that answer you?
Yes, it does. Thank you. I think I was also just wondering why the term companion would be used, like you're being a companion when you're intervening. But I suppose it's just going, I don't know, intervening as with pure good wishes. I don't know if that's
So,
overthinking.
so companion can mean not just physical, but mental companionship. Companion can means so many. I can either be a companion for something that's negative. I can be a companion for something positive. Like giving good wishes to someone is also giving your subtle vibrational companionship for somebody, because companion means is a term that is used for someone who have the ability to influence me on an equal ground. Only for equals we say companions. We don't say for anyone that is higher or lower than me. We don't tell that they are companions. Companions are always on an equal ground. So companions in terms of vibration mean that I am uplifting that soul vibrationally. I'm uplifting through my good thoughts, through my words of, like, even you can even talk to somebody in your mind, whether you realize it or not. We do that quite often, but sometimes we do it in a wrong way. We end up talking negatively to somebody in our mind. But if there are sometimes you cannot say words to somebody physically, then bring them in front of Baba. Make them here in your mind. Bring them in front of Baba. And how beautifully What is it that you want to tell to that soul? In your mind also, you can send that message. That is also a form of companionship, is that you don't want to give up on that soul. Just because of their particular weaknesses, it doesn't mean that they are bad. It just means that they probably need extra patience, and they probably need for me to believe, for them, for somebody to believe in them, and to help them to overcome these weaknesses. That is also giving good wishes, is also a form of companionship. Does that answer you?
Yes, definitely. Yes, thank you.
Okay. Okay, everyone. Thank you. We've extended extra 15 minutes now. So
Shanti and good night.
Shanti. So we'll have a few moments of silence, just a few minutes. We can thank you, Baba, for what Baba has given us and what Baba has taught us. So just a few minutes. Om Shanti.
Shanti.
Shanti, thank you.